And hello. Yep. Welcome back to the OSA Philippines
Oh, okay.
Nationals
Oh,
2025 OSA Mania 4K 7K tournament. I am Sergio85, and alongside with me, one new commentator that we have starting this weekend. We have Epic Man 2.
hello, hi everyone. Happy to be here. I decided I was just a bit bored, so I decided I'm just gonna start commentating for this tournament because I enjoy commentating and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so let's move to our match on hand. Uh, Tonight, we have Forcan, our number 3 seed, facing Silicosis, our number 6 seed. And this is a pretty classic matchup. Two veteran players of the game. I know Silicosis has been working on
Yeah, I mean,
getting
this both these
yeah.
players are definitely super iconic in the Philippine scene for the Mania demographic in 4K, but this is definitely like one of those matches that I would have been expecting to see like in the late game, for example. I mean, like it's not common that you see this type of stuff happening super early, in quarterfinals.
It's actually, I mean, I've seen these two players play each other in like what, semis or semis and all, but like I cannot remember at all like a time when we're seeing these two players face each other in a competitive match this early on in the tournament. Like, all I remember is that Silicosis has been working on getting to the later stages of the tournament. Of this tournament. Like the farthest that Silicosis has gone is finals. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Forken
Oh,
has
sorry.
won the entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that should serve as at least some evidence that both these players are definitely a force to be reckoned with, and with that, Forken's going to be winning the rolls with a 93. Silicosis behind by 37, so it seems like Forken going to be immediately opting in for protecting Campanella, so that is going to be the jump stream pick being protected, and now we are going to be seeing what Silicosis is down to protect. I would not be. Oh wait, no, they're going to. It seems like Silicosis is going to protect Hyper 2 as well in that matter.
And honestly, I really like the protectomy from Forken here. Forken, I'd say like overall, really, like on paper, like while we can say like this matchup is really close, like Forken is one of the strongest Rice players in the Philippines and maybe even globally. So just get the straightforward dump stream protected, get that sure point in for the most part.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a dangerous. Yeah, it's definitely kind of like one of those swords that's like really hard to wield if you're going to be protecting the jump stream map while you are one of the best active players in your own country, for example. Because especially here, Forkin and Silicosis, at least looking at the round of 16 statistics, for example, they are both like very evenly matched when it comes to the rise, especially on Worm Rave, I believe it was.
Yep.
That one definitely looks relatively scary for both sides of the stick, relatively.
I think for this matchup in particular, you're just gonna have to be careful, Levy. I think both of these players are gonna be a bit more conservative with the strategies. I cannot see any aggressive movements at all until much later in this chart. Anyways, Silicosis getting Rice 3 out of the pool. Considering seeing Suki in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Suki Zecho Show is definitely one of those maps that where it's like it is very hard if you aren't like as warmed up. Like having played it when I played in the Malaysian tournament like last year, because that was a qualifier map there. It was kind of hell to at least try and get consistent on it. But yeah, it seems like both the players are going to be banning Rice map out. So Silicos is opting in for the Rice map ban, not wanting to have I don't know, any close maps. Like, I assume that was what's going to be Rice 2 here. And Vibrant, because I assume Silicosis might be super, like, consistent when it comes to the very abrasive, unorthodox dump patterns here.
The bands have been locked in, so now it's time for us to see what Forken's opening move here. And unfortunately, it's the song with the title that I cannot say.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. What? They're already going for Ellen density? Oh,
Yep.
jeez. Crazy.
Yeah, I love
Definitely makes sense, though.
I don't know, like, from what I remember, like, seeing this in an earlier match, I remember that match. Like, for some reason, like, it was excessively close.
Yeah. That is definitely what is usually suggested when it comes to Ellen density maps in general, because of the fact that it's definitely like the closest thing you would get in Ellen that's like at least straightforward as a typical drum stream in the rice field would be. But especially here, it is definitely going to be really dense, especially if you know Yui's style of Ellen density, which is very, very intricate a lot of the time. Just a lot of like spaces where you gotta like at least like release some holes and then just go back to it. Where it's not like exactly where you're playing a full Ellen wall and all that.
Well, there's no more going back. Though at least what I remember is like Forken should in theory be able to get through these dense Ellen charts just fine. It's really a matter of whether Silicosis is able to manage their stamina, their ability throughout this entire chart, because the consistency is right there. But one thing that I've always observed whenever Silicosis plays is that there's this tendency to, drop that consistency when it matters the most. And,
yeah, absolutely. It is. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
And against a player like Forken, he cannot do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely like one of those things that you gotta watch out for when it comes to these kinds of maps where it really just demands consistency all around. And as we can see here, Silco's taking some pretty minor drops. So Forken's gonna be taking an actual drop, but that's just a swing the lead over to Silicosis. But it is a very, very unsafe lead, only just under the 1,000-point mark, as we already are past the first third of the map.
Silicosis needs to hold on and maybe increase its accuracy as well, because Forken's accuracy is pretty much like a tenth, almost a 10.5% ahead of Silicosis right now. So if this goes on as is, like this, I can see this lead being in the red again.
Yeah, that is something that I don't think Silicosis would want to imagine here. They are still in the lead, but it's just that the main problem is that the lead is incredibly unsafe. And as you can see here, it's just very, very just pointing into Forken's side, as we can see here. And now Forken has the lead, just going off of some very minor misjudgments on the side of Silicosis going into this next course. You get a lot of the Ellen density patterns that are really dense, a lot of these jump trills, a lot of these just chords in general that you gotta look out for that can definitely trip over anyone. And now it's Forken pushing over the 1,000-point mark. There is still a lot of map left to be able to go through.
Forken has been holding on to that 99.7% accuracy very well throughout this entire thing. It's as if like the miss did not really phase him that much, and it's really showing right now. Like this, it's actually funny that this is the biggest score margin that we've seen throughout this entire chart, like just under 2,700 points. And I think Forken might have just done enough to basically repel the threat, Silicosis threat on this chart that they themselves would have caused due to those drops.
Yeah, only just a bit of the map left, but I don't think there is enough time to just swing the lead back unless we see a miss on the side of Forken. But pushing 3,000 points and just going into the end, that I think that is just going to be it, and we are going to be seeing almost a 990k from Forken to kickstart this match off on the Ellen density pick. Holy.
Okay, it wasn't even a miss. Like, it was just a dropped LN here from Forken.
Yeah.
So this is,
Yeah, it was a slider break.
yeah, this is effectively a full combo at this point.
Yeah.
Like without that, this is easily a 990k score.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Silicosis with the like those that 200 count is it's actually something that might be a point of concern here.
Yeah, I think when it comes to these maps, it all just comes down to roll consistency alone to be able to just simply get the score that is going to be on the reigning victorious over the other. And especially as you can see here, gigantic OTN. Whatever that means, I don't think I need to know right now. It's definitely one of those maps where it is very consistent demanding.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Oh.
We don't talk about it right now.
Yeah, I know. All right, hybrid free world collapse. Well, no, hybrid 2 world collapse.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Is this a good pick? Is this a good opening pick? I think that's a better question here.
I mean, the matches we've seen so far are definitely very tight in their own right. So I guess it makes all the more sense that both these players are just testing the waters with like what is like available at deck. Especially here, Vorken opting in for the more like technical pick, I guess, in terms of like it's less physically demanding, but more like mentally demanding, if it makes sense. And then Silicosis going for definitely quite a physical pick here as well, which definitely makes sense on their right, but I don't know if I don't know how that's gonna go specifically.
Well, anyways, here comes World Collapse. Funnily enough, I think this is like the first time I'm seeing this chart. Even after the showcase. So definitely something that I'll have to pay attention to for this weekend. And maybe for Silicosis as well right now. Because that 200 count from earlier is a bit concerning really.
Yeah, especially here. This is definitely one of the more physical picks in the map pool specifically. Not just because like you got to at least hang on to the LNs with your life, but also because of the fact that you're basically just playing like a lot of LNs with shields incorporated, but you also have a lot of jacks like just infused with them as well as bursts that can be pretty awkward if you're not like quite used to them. And going into this course, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Seems like Silicosis so far has the upper hand so far, going just nearly 1,000 points ahead. Just that we see some pretty minor misjudgments on both sides from Vorken and Silicosis respectively, but Silicosis is still going to be remaining on top here, going through a lot of these really dense bat bursts, as we can see here, going past the first wall, going past the first back half of the chart.
Yeah, but we're effectively tied accuracy-wise with these two players. 99.83 for both. Silicosis with an extremely slight advantage going into this break section. The absolutely worst place to miss. No! No, please let that be Bancho. Please let that be Client.
Right, as you said it as well, that is definitely one of the worst places to miss. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing any misses like during this final 8 of the map here. This is going into the final course of the map, and so far we see Vorken with such a big advantage so far, going through a lot of these bursts, a lot of these just really dense anchors and shields in general, just reverse shields overall, that can definitely damage a lot of players going into a map like this, or a Jack Hybrid. You watch out for this ending.
Oh,
okay.
Man, like
Vorken
that,
takes it.
that miss, I think, actually, that dropped LN, like, I think that would have been almost enough to make the difference.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Looking at both
man.
these scores, it looks so close. If it wasn't for that one, good Silicosis probably just going off of like how he had 2 less misses than Vorken did. Oh
Oh
boy.
man, that's that's sad. I think that's actually really sad. And apparently
Yeah.
it's because of like a keyboard switch that misfired or something. Judging from the chat here.
They've always got to be the worst things to like experience during a match. Just like, oh no, the key switch is just not working at your full advantage. This is something that you really need for a match, like when it comes to this game alone. But despite that, it seems like the next pick is going to be none other than LN3. So I think both these players have already gone through a lot of these really dense maps to start off with, so they're only gonna bring like even more dense maps into the fray here. But I'm not sure how to feel about this pick specifically, just going off of, like how the previous two went, in my opinion.
Okay, I think Silicosis is confused about what was banned here. Because definitely we saw Rice 3 being banned.
It was Rice 3 and Rice 5.
Yeah, what's Rice 3 and Rice 5? And I
Rice
think...
3, yeah.
Oh, I think I see that what the chat says here. I think Silicosis intended to ban Distort.
Oh. Oh no. Okay, not cooked quite yet. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, this is why you have to be careful with saying what your call is.
Yeah, especially here when you are in the phase where you gotta like ban maps that can definitely be of a pretty crazy advantage to your opponent. You don't want to like accidentally sharpshoot at the wrong map, because otherwise you still have that map at the other player's disposal. So oh no.
That's actually really sad.
I think for now we're just gonna have to see how Silicosis manages with this, now that it seems like we are gonna be going into L3.
Hey, we can already say that Silicosis loses this pick just because of like they intended to ban this. I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really just depends. It's either that Silicosis is gonna give up this point, or we're gonna be seeing Forken potentially like lose, because we have seen again that both these players are relatively close when it comes to LN. It's just something that boils down to roll consistency alone. I mean, we've seen Forken get a combo break on LN2 from earlier, and with this map being a lot more technical, I would not be surprised if that were to happen again. But so far, it seems like Forken is going to be having quite a heavy advantage here, going just nearly 5,000 points going into this really calm, kind of tricky section to go through, and Silicosis is just behind by 5,000 points. They really need to at least pray for a drop on the side of Forken to be able to bring the lead back into their hands.
But like this is a ooh, okay, that miss is huge. Forken missing on that mini jack transition.
Oh.
And this gives the lead to Silicosis. Like, Silicosis needs to hold on to this advantage now. Because this lead is not safe at all, especially with Forken with the absolute accuracy advantage right now, almost 2/10. Just need to hold on, maybe increase this as well.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. Unless if a miss on the side of Forken were to happen, especially with how much more technical this map is, it definitely could have swung over to Silicosis again, but the lead is still just not safe on the side of
my god! No! No, don't do this to us.
There's not much map left. No.
No, okay, I think this is safety for... Oh, big miss from Forken! Silicosis steals it at the end! Oh my gosh! Clutch FC! A really clutch full combo from Silicosis gives them their first point on a very crucial phase of this match. Wow!
Wow. Bro. And it's definitely so... This is definitely like one of those moments where you can definitely get really salty. I mean, like, if I was Forken in this situation, I would have been absolutely pissed, bro. I mean, 4 misses and the best ratio in the lobby, as well as like best accuracy, but Silicosis had the full combo advantage, which ultimately won them. Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
Just
2-1
at the
to
end.
Fortune. Yeah, 2-1 to Fortune right now. Both these players already on kind of equal footing. Silicosis just needs yet another point to just win to be able to make it 2-all. And so far with that breakpoint, especially, that definitely opens up some windows for Silicosis to at least snag some more points here. Potentially break. I think, in my opinion, I would break away from the hybrids and elements and probably go for like one of the rice deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the rice would be a really solid option in my opinion.
I mean, I'd say go for like your protect at least to make sure that you get the tie in.
Yeah.
But like, okay, you're going for slash, so
Oh.
this would be.
That's not a. Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure what chart this is.
Slash is like a technical hybrid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this map, at least, like, having to skim through it, like, just a few minutes ago, it is definitely really dangerous and abrasive if you are just at least sight reading it. So, hopefully neither of these players, like, sight read it. This is definitely gonna be, like, really accuracy demanding if both these players are not careful, and, especially here, this is super early into the match, so any point is going to matter either way. Silicosis definitely both these players definitely want to be able to make it into the semi-final bracket clean, especially in the winners bracket. Although one thing that is definitely noteworthy to note already is whoever wins this match is gonna have to face Boji next round. So
yeah,
hopefully both these players are aware.
Yeah, not. I mean, they would have seen the bracket already. They should be prepared for. They should be prepared for that possibility.
Absolutely.
Well, anyways.
But yeah.
Man, like if you're Silicosis right now, like you're gonna hope that you don't squander this opportunity at all. You will want to win this point because you've been gifted a point on a silver platter. You better eat all the crumbs off of it.
Yeah, when you're offered like the free course meal, you better take it, even if it's like something you don't want. Like, I don't know, like British food, cough, maybe.
Oh, yeah, full English breakfast would be nice.
Yeah, English breakfast is good. I mean, like some of the more sillier like British foods that exist out there.
Oh, like the one I would think is like what? I mean, without what was it? What was it they called? Bubble and squeak. Oh, Silicosis!
What? Oh no, Silicosis taking out Mesa. It's definitely going to be a very dangerous situation for them. Forken already just about 3,000 points and a lead, and now going into this course, you see a lot of these really odd complexer technical oriented sounds just simply sped up, and now with Forken having the upper hand, there is just a lot of abrasive patterns left to go through, especially going into this section, which is very rice heavy and just overall very abrasive and unorthodox for a rice section in a hybrid map.
I imagine, like at least my like I would have thought that you would go for something a bit more straightforward, really, like making sure, like not go for a riskier move. And as it stands, really, like Silicosis' risk taking hasn't paid off in this case.
Yeah,
like it's not paying off right now. Like Forken is just destroying this chart.
Yeah, absolutely. This map, probably one of the closest you can get to a rice map in the hybrids department. It's just that's especially as you can see here with like some of the previous sections, like especially that one with the blast pieces we've seen earlier. That one definitely sounds hard on the ears, but yeah, this final core is probably going to be spelling it all if both these players are not careful enough. Forken just about 5,000 points in the lead. Silicosis still yet to at least find some spot to capitalize off of. Silicosis just needs to at least hang on and pray that Forken just gets yet another drop. And we've seen that from previous map, but with how things have been turning out, I don't think there's enough time for that to just boil in.
And Forken replies with a breakpoint of their own. And man, like Silicosis had a better ratio. Maybe without
Ooh,
that one miss, this would have been this would have been a very different story.
absolutely. I guess that already just shows how this match in general is just very just scary in general. But it seems like Forkin's going to be responding off that breakpoint with Goat EX. Oh no.
Oh boy.
The first rice map in the match, and it has to be probably arguably the most difficult one as well. Oh no. I don't know how I feel about this pick, kind of.
I mean, surely Forken comes in to this pick is like very confident at this point.
Yeah, this map is probably the definition of wielding like a double-edged sword. Like on one hand, yeah, both these players are very capable when it comes to rice, especially. But I think the main question here is like, how good are you in rice when it comes to insanely simple maps like Goat's EX in particular? I mean, this is a bit of a more obscure map. Probably just solely made because the one from Speed of Light 3 is just balls hard. But you get the point.
I think our referee forgot to change the chart. Give us a few.
Oh. Oh. Hopefully, okay, just ring the bells. Hopefully they'll wake up.
Yeah. I think they didn't see the chat. I think.
Yeah. Go to EX Goat by Ray.
Yeah. So.
Okay, ref.
Okay. Anyways, while we're waiting. Okay, there you go. While we are waiting, like, man, like if you're Silicosis right now, like, the desperation has to come in at some point. Like, you gotta score that one break point again. Like, it's actually important that Silicosis gets back to their feet fast in this match.
Yeah, this one definitely going to be one of the most pivotal moments in the match. Silicosis just has a lot of points to win. Forkin is only just 2 points away from making it into match point. That's something Silicosis doesn't want here if they want to be able to at least remain in the winners bracket. Going into none other than Goat EX, arguably the hardest rice map, or at least the hardest technical rice map in the map pool. And so far we get a lot of these really odd technical bursts as we can see here, and so far the lead is just practically the same.
Yeah.
Just not even flinching between any of these players unless we see just the minor 300s come out.
Yeah, like an extremely slight lead here for Silicosis as of this moment, but like you have to know, like a lead that's like whose difference is what, like 0.02%. That's barely anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that Silicosis is gonna need to pray for. I mean, like, especially in points where it just does not like really shift the tone of the match that hard. Yeah. There's definitely gonna be points in the map that will shift practically everything. That will change the trajectory of basically just most things that are going to be happening in the match, and that is something that Silicosis is going to be needing here.
Ooh,
to
the thrill!
Win.
No!
What?
Under thrilling. Silicosis under thrilled that one. That's so. Again, that's sad. I cannot describe it with a different word. Like Silicosis is just right there. Until that one thrill. But again, Like, this is a 4-minute chart, so anything could still happen at this point. So at least that's the thing going here for Silicosis.
Yeah, absolutely. Silicosis is not just out of the fray just yet. There's still a lot of the map left. Got a lot of these really intricate and tight bursts to go through. And this is only half of the map already, so there's still so much room for error on both sides, especially from Porken here, who is still not exactly just safe yet. Still got this Korjak card and this breakcore section coming in as well. 5,000 points ahead. There's still a lot of room for error on both sides of the players here.
Okay. So now we have like 2/3 of the start a third of the start remaining. Forken is still within a manageable margin, but now you're at that point where you're gonna start hoping that Forken finds a miss. Like if you're Silicosis right now, or finds a big moment similar to what they had earlier. Because as it stands, it's really that one thrill that has made the difference between these two players, and Silicosis finds an unfortunate drop on that shield. Oh man.
Fine. Oh my god, this is definitely a lot worse because this is the final hard section in the map as well. This is just the freaking Speedcore Gabbard section, and I think it's already over just like that in just a blink of an eye. You got this simp, but there was really hardly any time for Silicosis to recover from that, for Forken to just take a drop somewhere besides from these, unless if it's a shipment from one of these kicks here. But that is probably going to be it.
Yeah, like just to add insult to injury, really, like you're shown like a break section. You're shown the score gap. Like it's actually brutal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ooh, Forken with a V1 double S as well. I did not notice that.
What? 996k on the hardest rice map. What are you doing? First of all.
Oh man, like, we've been talking about the psychology of the match here in Silicosis' point of view. That we barely noticed that Forken is actually V1 double S this.
Absolutely. I mean, this match in general is just definitely one of those situations where it is going to be insanely dangerous for both players, just because they are both like playing on a pool that they are already like well adjusted to. It's just the challenge is at least trying to get the best of the best scores at your disposal, and especially here, there's not too many maps left on the board. We only have one LN, one hybrid, and then 3 rice maps. No, we have 2 LNs, 1 hybrid, and 3 rice maps left. And not to mention the 3 rice maps available are all super straightforward.
And like, I mean, straightforward might be a breather at least that Silicosis needs. Like if you're them right now, like selecting right now, like just pick what you think you're gonna be most confident on. But like, man, like how do you? Like, you're gonna think like, how do you claw back on the gap? Claw back the gap really that Forken has established right now.
Yeah, what I meant by the main threat and straightforward picks is that both Forken and Silicosis in round of 16 like have shown to be insanely close when it comes to the rice maps in specific, and especially with the fact that there's literally only just Speed, Jump Stream, and then Korjak left. But despite that, Silicosis is going to be opting in for LN1, so one of the final LN picks available on the board. I suppose it definitely makes a bit more sense to at least go for this one as a safer pick, but I'm not sure at the same time, just knowing Forken's performances on the Ellens from earlier.
I think like the only reason I could think that why Silicosis is avoiding the Rice is just that they're not confident that they cannot. They're not confident that their accuracy could keep up with Forken's accuracy. But like it has been shown, like Silicosis is capable of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to Silicosis here, I think it might be a bit more of a consistency battle, to say the least, rather than just a raw physical battle here, because it's really just all about getting the full combo, at least, on the side of Silicosis. And we've seen both these players all on that matter on certain maps, so it really is just at least trying to do it on as much as possible, basically, just maximizing the most that you can out of that field alone.
And as it says, it's Forken who's taking advantage of that mindset. Really, there's less and like it does help Forken that there's less pressure on them right now. Right now you're just focusing on getting match point, and if you don't get it on this point, you have it's your next pick after this one. So like it's all
Absolutely.
That is just helping Forken, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's only really helping Forken here, as we can see Silicosis has taken a bit of an accuracy drop, just going through a lot of these LNs that were pretty dense, a lot of these timing L-esque type of LNs that can definitely throw a lot of people off in terms of trying to act them well, and we know that Forken is basically humanly capable of at least getting some insane ratios when it comes to these LN maps, specifically pushing over the 2,000 point mark. So that is definitely something that Silicosis is going to have to at least climb over. But we see Forken taking a great as well, but that's not going to do way too much unless we see some barrage of mistakes coming from their side, first thing.
Okay, I see a 200 coming from Forken, a few 200s actually in this section. So accuracy is dropping on Forken's side, but Forken is just doing enough to maintain that 1/10, the 10th% gap really over Silicosis right now, and it's doing Forken wonders as of this moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially going into this next section, the final 8th. I think this is the final course of the map. We still see a lot of these really dense LN coordination bursts that are just thrown at you directly. Just freaking, I don't know. Imagine like you're just under the basketball hoop, and then as soon as you see freaking LeBron James just like jump over the hoop, you just see freaking LNs just dunked on you. That's literally what this section feels like, and that is exactly no exception for Forken, who's going to capitalize off that map with yet another breakpoint, making it match point here.
And with a double FC as well, Silicosis with a really good full combo here. But man, like Forken with just the overall accuracy advantage. Like for those who were following the 7K match that went before this, like we're seeing that same dynamic really. One player who's like you're not gonna beat them on hack, but if you can keep it close, you can keep your combo. Like there is a chance as long as as long as your opponent finds or just has a big moment somewhere in the chart. But considering Forken's form as it stands, like it's not happening.
Absolutely. Also, on a unrelated note, Fed Minger, you can do it. New mono ultra microscopic silica volcano coniosis. Is that what you wanted me to say? What? Oh my days.
Oh my gosh. Pneumono ultra microscopic silica volcano coniosis. Oh my god.
New mono ultra microscopic silica volcano coniosis. Oh my god.
Literally just typing out the entire word.
Yeah.
Okay, so
literally.
Okay.
Campanella. No. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Oh man, I'm actually excited to see Forken score on this.
All I know, just knowing both these players, we probably just gotta take just 1 second to breathe. This can definitely be a bit of a bloodshed.
Also, I'm gonna mention this as long as I'm commentating these matches. I still cannot believe that I'm hearing Campanella for the second weekend in a row this PHNats. Because we had this in 7K last week. Albeit the base rate.
Although Campanella is just that much of a very popular song, especially from 7K MWC last year. So I guess it makes sense that you'll literally just never stop hearing it. Like in the yeah.
It's a really good song though.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a fair trade-off at least, so it evens out.
Yeah. Anyways, here comes chart number 7. What is possibly the final chart of this match? Silicosis is gonna try and bid for a breakpoint and extending their stay in the winner's bracket by at least one more chart.
Yeah. If there was any point in the match where it is insanely important for Silicosis, then it's gonna be this map specifically, just because 4Ken is running out of options as well as we speak. It's now that we already have like most of the LNs out of the question, and now it's just mostly rice maps that are just left to be picked. Not to mention it is the relatively straightforward ones as well. So Silicosis is definitely going to need at least maps like this to at least maintain their position in the winner's bracket, to at least prevent that victory from happening on the side of 4Ken and just forcing the tiebreaker, which is basically Silicosis' only option now.
And as it stands, 4Ken has just over 0.1% advantage here with the... Like, this is really, really good form now we're seeing from 4Ken. Like, ever since that one drop really on the points Silicosis won, like 4Ken is practically FC'd the rest of the charts in this match.
Yeah, indeed, and oh yeah.
Like, this is just really good form that 4Ken is showing right now. And now we are entering like one of the densest portions of this chart.
Yeah, neither of these players can... Bro, this is the one section where neither of these players can afford any misses whatsoever. If 4Ken misses, it is over. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. Oh, man. So far, it seems like none of these players are going to be phased just by a 4Ken with the insane accuracy advantage going through a lot of these jump trolls and bursts. That is going to be it. A 9.8k? 80. Who is the
Sub 100.
What?
85 300s.
No!
Wow.
The disrespect, bro. Oh, Lord.
4Ken. Just wow. Just wow. Also, Silicosis, this is not your last match. You still have next week. Silicosis still has next week, and to show more of their prowess. Meanwhile, 4Ken, what? Like, this is a statement. This is a statement match, I'd say. Like I'm here. I'm not here to make the numbers. I'm here to actually go and win this tournament. Like
Yeah.
it's just that man, 4Ken, massive applause to you, really. Okay, so
Absolutely.
let's look at the bracket. So we have the second semi-final match confirmed. So we have Boji facing 4Ken, number 2 versus number 3. And I know Els is frothing at her mouth right now.
Oh,
I
wow.
know. She's frothing at her mouth right now, and she will make sure to be able to commentate this match. I am sure of it. Like, if she has a scheduled My session next weekend, she will forego of that just to commentate on this match. I'm very sure of that.
Bro, that
Meanwhile,
match definitely looks insane.
Silicosis is gonna be waiting for the winner of Sakuragi versus Mania Degen God. And I think that match is scheduled for tomorrow or maybe later tonight. I'm not. I have to remember the schedules. And speaking of the schedules, we could actually take a look at that right there. It's actually gonna happen at 8 p.m. PH time or 12 UTC. So there's that. Well, anyways, the other match, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get an update on the results of the other matches happening at this R, which is a 7K match. We'll just post an update on the brackets when it happens. Anyways, our next matchup, and which will happen 14 minutes from now, we have Paracosm versus J1002. J1002, surprisingly, the 2021 PH Nationals champion in the losers bracket, fighting for their lives to extend their campaign by at least one more match.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, that guy's in the losers bracket?
Yes, this is a losers bracket match.
Huh?
Yeah, I am serious. There you go.
What? No way! Bro,
I am
I
serious.
have been missing out. Holy damn.
And then Paracosm in prime position to do a funny thing and upset a champion. Well, I think we can end it here for now because we'll be changing streamers for the next matchup, and I need to take a nap. I haven't slept for for a good amount of 36 hours or so. So I'll leave it to you, Epic Man, to close this one out.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Once again, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Definitely a really intense match that we've seen here. Definitely could have gone in all sorts of directions, but we hope to catch you all in just a bit for the next match that is going to be upcoming. Bye.